Roll4Crit.com presents How to Play Cthulhu Realms in 5 minutes or less or more. Cthulhu Realms is a deck-building take on the Cthulhu mythos in the vein of other deck-building game, Star Realms. Hence the whole Realms thing they got going on there. It's a pattern. The game was designed by Darwin Castle and published by Tasty Minstrel Games. In Cthulhu Realms, each player begins with 50 sanity points, which are marked on an individual player board. If someone reaches 0 points, they lose and go insane! Last player left hanging on is declared the winner. Players receive a starting deck of 6 follower cards, 2 goon cards, and 2 initiate cards. Shuffle that deck up and start playing. On the first player's turn, they only get to draw 3 cards from their deck, but every turn after that, each player will draw up to 5 cards. In the center of the table, you'll see a lineup of 5 cards which are available to purchase and add to your deck. A pile of initiate cards will also be available for purchase. The main deck sits face up next to this lineup. On your turn, you can play any or all of the cards in your hand. The order you play them in doesn't matter, so feel free to sprawl them across the table like a madman and decide later how you want to use them all. Each card has a color indicated by the band across the bottom, a cost in the top right, and 1 or more abilities indicated by symbols listed on the left-hand side. These abilities can be used in any order, even between multiple cards, and are completely optional. Your most basic starting ability will be to rid the other player of sanity. If you see this symbol with a red negative number, it means you choose a player and they lose that much sanity. This is how you win. You may also see the positive version of that symbol, which allows you to heal yourself. You'll also receive Conjuring Power, as seen here. Conjuring Power is what allows you to take cards from the center lineup to improve your personal deck. For example, if you played 4 followers and had 4 total Conjuring Power, you could either buy this Hunting Horror for a cost of 4, or 2 Initiates for a cost of 2 each. Or you could buy this 3-costing card and have 1 left over. As soon as you pay for a card, it goes face up to your discard pile to be shuffled and drawn from your deck later on. Then it is immediately replaced in the lineup by the top card of the main deck. If the main deck ever runs out, the game ends right away, and whoever has the most sanity at that time wins. Once you've played all the cards you wish, discard them and draw up to 5 again, keeping any cards in your hand from last turn that you chose not to play. If your deck runs out of cards, shuffle your discard pile. Next player goes, and on until someone wins. Of course, there are several other more complicated actions which I'll go over right now. Draw or discard a card allows you to choose a player to draw or discard 1 or more cards, sometimes both. The Abjure ability lets you choose 1 card of cost 6 or less from your hand, discard pile, or the center lineup and remove it from the game. If you see the Abjure symbol on the bottom of an ability symbol, it means that in order to trigger that ability, you have to abjure that card itself, again removing it from the game. But they're not always removed from the game completely, as you might see this symbol, which allows you to acquire any cards that were abjured on that same turn. Some cards are locations, indicated by this train symbol in the bottom left corner. Unlike other cards, locations remain on the field in front of you from turn to turn, can be reused, and aren't discarded. They even have their own sanity levels and can be targeted directly by other players. If that happens, they must be completely destroyed in 1 turn. Sanity damage does not carry over. Some locations have a player symbol, meaning that it is a sanctuary which other players must target and destroy first before being able to target that player. Some locations have a location symbol, meaning that they must be targeted first before other locations, but the player is still fair game. Multiple locations can be out at once, leading to some powerful combos, but there is also the Destroy Location ability, allowing players to do just that. If you see small symbols in the top corners of other ability symbols, those are prerequisites for using those abilities. For example, you must play a second green card in order to use this ability. If you play 2 green cards with such requirements, they can and do trigger each other. Other requirements might include having a location in play, or that some player discarded a card during that turn. Finally, there's this arrow symbol, which means that you can choose one of the 2 abilities it points to on the card, but not both. You must choose. Them's the basics, but if you're playing with 3 or 4 players, things change a bit. 2 lineups of 3 cards each are now put between players. Now you can only choose and affect cards from the 2 lineups closest to you, ignoring those farther away. Sanity attacks also affect both of your neighbors, not just one. Isn't insanity just the best? In conclusion, draw cards, play cards, conjure cards, drive your opponents insane. That's Cthulhu Realms in a nutshell. Did you get all that?